So we looked at our test and setting it up, and now we're ready to go through and actually do our calculations. So when we do our calculations, you're going to go to your calculator, and you're going to go to your stat menu, and you are going to go over to your test menu, and we are going to look for a one proportion z-test. We have one proportion that we're looking at here, and so that is the test that we're going to be using in this particular case. So if we're going to use that, we're going to press our enter there, and it's going to ask us what our P naught is. And in our case, our P naught is the proportion that they gave us in the problem, which is the 0.4. Our X is the number of people who answered favorably. Even though we don't consider binge drinking to be successful, in our case, that's what we were looking for, and those are what people answered. So there were 7,741 of those. And then N is our sample size, which is 17,592. Once we've done this, we've got to decide what kind of test we're doing, and we said that we're doing a greater than test. So that is this one. And then we're going to move down, and we're going to go ahead and press calculate. And this is going to give us the information that we need and that we need to report. So in this case, what we need to report is we need to report our z-score. And it tells us here that our z-score is 10.8376. It tells us that our p-value is, look at that, 1.1697 times e to the negative 27. That means there's 26 zeros in front of this, which means that that is practically 0. We need to report our p-hat, and our p-hat is 0.44, and we've already reported our n and so on. So we want to draw a picture of what this is going to look like. So if we have a normal distribution and we've got a z-score of 10, that means we're 10 standard deviations above the mean. So we're looking, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We are way down in there. That's the little area. So barely anything is getting shaded there. This is like a really, really, really strong p-value. It is giving us a lot of evidence to reject H naught. So now we have to answer our question just like we always do. So we're going to say, with a p-value of practically 0, we have strong evidence to reject H naught at the 5% level, the 1% level, the 0.01% level, whatever you want to say. I mean, we have very strong evidence to reject at all of those levels. So we're going to reject H naught at any of those levels in favor of HA, or alternative. So now what we have to say is we have to say what that means. So we believe the data supports the fact that more than 40% of all college students in the U.S. are binge drinkers. So this is pretty, strong, irrefutable evidence to support our claim that we're making in this particular problem. Okay? All right. So there is an example of how we can go through and do a z-test from start to finish with no problems. The next problem we want to look at is a little bit different. So here it is. When trying to hire managers and executives, companies sometimes verify the academic credentials described by the applicants. One company that performs these checks summarized their findings for a 6-month period. Of the 84 applicants whose credentials were checked, 15 lied about having a degree. So for Part A, we want to find the proportion of applicants who lied about having a degree, and we want to find the standard error. So that's the very first thing that we're going to do. In order to do that, to find our proportion, remember we're going to find our number of successes, and we're going to divide it by our sample size. So in this particular problem, our number of successes is how many people said that they lied. So in ours, that's going to be 15 out of our sample size, which is 84. So if we take 15 divided by 84, we get about 0.179. So this is what we consider to be p hat. That is the proportion of our sample who said that they lied. The next thing it wants us to do is to find the standard error. So our formula for standard error was the square root of p hat times 1 minus p hat divided by n. So our p hat is 0.179 times 1 minus 0.179, which is 0.821, all over the 84. So now you're just going to type that into your calculator. 0.179 times 0.821 divided by 84, take the square root, and you get about 0.0418. And so there is our standard error. Okay, while y'all are finished checking that, I'm going to save this video and we'll move on to the